Your dog's behavior changed weeks ago, but you thought it was just a phase. What if I told you those small changes are actually your dog telling you you've hurt them emotionally? Dogs don't hold grudges the way humans do, but they do feel hurt, confused, and emotionally damaged when certain things happen. The problem is they can't tell you what's wrong. They show you through behavior changes that most people either miss completely or misinterpret. I'm gonna walk you through 9 signs that you've accidentally broken your dog's heart. Some are obvious once you know what to look for. Others are so subtle you might have been seeing them for weeks without realizing what they mean. By the end of this video, you'll understand what your dog is trying to communicate and how to rebuild that trust. Number 9, they avoid eye contact with you. Have you noticed your dog looking away when you try to make eye contact? Or maybe they used to stare at you lovingly and now they don't. Eye contact is huge for dogs. It's how they bond with you. When a dog maintains eye contact, it releases oxytocin, the same bonding hormone that connects mothers to babies. When a dog starts avoiding your eyes, something has damaged that bond. Maybe you yelled at them and they didn't understand why, or maybe you've been distant or distracted and they're picking up on your emotional unavailability. Dogs read faces constantly. They study your expressions to understand your mood and predict your behavior. When they stop looking at you, it's because looking has become associated with something negative. Disappointment, anger, rejection. This is emotional withdrawal, and they're protecting themselves from something that hurt them, even if you didn't mean to cause it. If your dog won't look at you anymore, ask yourself what changed in how you interact with them. The answer is usually in the last few weeks of your behavior, not theirs. This next sign goes even deeper because it's about where. Your dog feels safest and it might not be near you anymore. Number 8, they stop following you around. Dogs are pack animals. Their instinct is to stay close to their family. If your dog used to follow you from room to room and suddenly stops, that's not independence, that's distance. Think about what following you means to a dog. It means they want to be where you are. They feel secure in your presence. They trust that being near you is the best place to be. When that stops, it's because something made them feel like being near you isn't safe or rewarding anymore. Maybe you've been irritable and they've learned that approaching you leads to being ignored or scolded. Maybe you've been too busy to acknowledge them and they've stopped trying. Some people misinterpret this as their dog growing up or becoming more independent. But most dogs don't suddenly decide they don't need you. They decide that needing you hasn't been working out for them. The painful part is, while you're relieved that your dog isn't underfoot anymore, your dog is across the house feeling rejected. They wanted to be with you, and something made them believe you didn't want them there. Pay attention to where your dog chooses to be. If they used to be in whatever room you were in, and now they're consistently somewhere else, you've got a problem that needs addressing. Now, if your dog is near you physically but emotionally checked out, this next behavior shows that even more clearly. Number 7, they stop bringing you toys. When a dog brings you a toy, they're not asking you to throw it. Well, sometimes they are, but more often they're offering you something valuable. It's a gesture of trust, affection, and inclusion. If your dog used to bring you toys regularly and doesn't anymore, they've stopped trying to engage with you. Maybe you ignored them too many times. Maybe you took the toy and didn't give it back, and they learned that sharing with you means losing something they care about. This also applies to dogs who used to initiate play and no longer do. Play is how dogs bond and communicate joy. When they stop inviting you into that space, they're telling you the relationship doesn't feel playful or safe anymore. The fix is simple, but requires consistency. When your dog brings you something, even if you're busy, acknowledge it. Show interest. Engage for even 30 seconds. Let them know their attempts to connect with you matter. If your dog used to greet you at the door and doesn't anymore, this next sign explains why that absence is more serious than it seems. Number 6, they don't greet you when you come home. One of the purest joys of having a dog is coming home to that explosive excitement. The wagging tail, the full body wiggle, the pure, unfiltered happiness that you exist. When that stops, it's heartbreaking. And it doesn't stop for no reason. Dogs greet you enthusiastically because they genuinely missed you and they're thrilled you're back. If you're dog has stopped doing this, it's because coming home has become associated with something negative. Maybe you started scolding them immediately when you walked in because they had an accident or chewed something. Or maybe you ignore them while you check your phone or deal with other things, and they've learned that your arrival doesn't actually include them. Some dogs also withdraw when they sense you're unhappy with them, even if they don't understand what they did wrong. If you come home frustrated about something unrelated and your dog picks up on that energy, they might start greeting you cautiously or not at all. Your dog should be excited to see you. If they're not, something in your routine or your behavior has taught them not to be. If these signs are hitting close to home, make sure you subscribe now, because understanding your dog's emotional needs could save your relationship with them. This next one is physical, and it's one of the most telling signs that your dog doesn't feel safe or connected to you anymore. Number 5. They flinch or cower when you reach for them. A dog that flinches when you reach for them is a dog that expects something bad to happen. This doesn't always mean abuse. Sometimes it's just inconsistency. Maybe you've been stressed and accidentally moved too quickly. Maybe you grabbed their collar roughly when you were in a hurry, and now they can't predict what your hands mean. Dogs learn through association. If your hand has ever caused discomfort, even unintentionally, they remember it. And if they can't predict whether your reach means affection or something unpleasant, they'll default to protecting themselves. Cowering is even worse because it signals that your dog sees you as a threat. Not necessarily a violent threat, but someone whose actions cause them stress or fear. A healthy, secure dog leans into your touch. They seek out your hands because your hands mean good things. If your dog pulls away, flinches, or cowers, you need to examine how you've been interacting with them physically and emotionally. Rebuilding this takes time. Slow, gentle, predictable touches paired with treats and calm energy. You need to teach your dog that your hands are safe again. Speaking of trust, this next behavior shows a complete breakdown in communication between you and your dog. Number 4, they stop listening to commands. They used to know. Your dog knows sit. They know stay. They've done these commands 1,000 times. So why are they suddenly acting like they've never heard them before? When a dog stops responding to commands they clearly know, it's often because the training relationship has become stressful or confusing. Maybe you've been inconsistent with your commands. Maybe you've gotten frustrated and raised your voice. Maybe the rewards stopped coming and now obeying you doesn't feel worth it. Dogs don't work for free. They work for connection, praise, treats, play, or basically something that makes the effort worthwhile. If obeying you has started to feel like a transaction where they give and you take without reciprocating, they'll disengage. Another reason dogs stop listening is stress. If your household has been chaotic, if you've been anxious or angry, if there's been tension between people in the home, your dog absorbs all of that. And when dogs are stressed, their ability to focus and respond to commands drops significantly. This also happens when punishment has become the main consequence for getting things wrong. If your dog used to try and now they don't, it's because trying became risky. They'd rather do nothing than do the wrong thing and face your frustration. Now, if your dog used to sleep near you and doesn't anymore, this next sign reveals something painful about how secure they feel in your presence. Number 3. They move away from you when sleeping. Dogs are vulnerable when they sleep, which means they choose sleeping locations based on where they feel safest. If your dog used to sleep in your room, on your bed, or right next to you and has started sleeping somewhere else, they don't feel safe or comfortable near you anymore. That's a significant shift in trust. Maybe you've been restless at night and accidentally kicked them. Maybe you scolded them for being on the bed when you were in a bad mood. Maybe your energy has been tense or unpredictable, and they've decided that distance feels better. Dogs also move away when they're stressed or anxious about the relationship. If they're not sure how you're going to react to them, they'd rather create space than risk a negative interaction. Some people think their dog is just being independent or likes their own space now. But unless your dog has always been a solo sleeper, a sudden change in sleeping location is a red flag. Dogs seek proximity to the people they trust. When they stop seeking that proximity, something's broken. If your dog has moved to another room, start noticing how they act around you during the day. Chances are the sleeping distance is just one piece of a larger pattern of withdrawal. This next one is about physical affection, and it's one of the clearest signs your dog is emotionally pulling away. Number 2. They don't want to be petted anymore. Dogs love physical affection from people they trust. When that changes, the trust has changed. If your dog used to lean into your touch, seek out pets, or nudge your hand for more attention, and now they tolerate being petted or avoid it completely. Something shifted in how they experience your touch. This can happen if you've been petting them roughly or in ways they don't like. Not all dogs enjoy being patted on the head. Some don't like their paws touched. Others are sensitive about their tails or ears. It can also happen if your touch has become associated with something negative. If you only pet your dog right before you leave for work, and being left alone stresses them out, they'll start associating your touch with abandonment. If you pet them right before doing something they don't like, baths, nail trims, vet visits, they'll start seeing your affection as a warning. Watch your dog's body language when you touch them. Are they leaning in or pulling away? Are they relaxed or tense? Their body tells you whether your affection feels good or uncomfortable. And finally, this last sign is the most obvious, but also the one people rationalize away the most. Number 1. They act happier with other people. This one stings, but it's important. If your dog lights up around other people but stays subdued around you, they're showing you exactly where the problem is. Dogs don't play favorites randomly. They bond most strongly with the people who make them feel safe, valued, and happy. If your dog is more excited to see your partner, your kids, a dog walker, or even strangers than they are to see you, it's because those people offer something you're not offering right now. Maybe those people are more patient. Maybe they're more playful. Maybe they don't yell or punish. Or maybe they're just more present and engaged when they interact with your dog. This doesn't mean your dog doesn't love you. It means your dog has learned that other people are more reliable sources of positive interactions. And that's fixable, but only if you're willing to acknowledge it and change how you show up for them. Pay attention to how your dog acts around different people. Who do they approach first? Who do they stay near? Who makes their tail wag the hardest? Those people are doing something right, and you can learn from them. These 9 signs aren't about being a bad owner. They're about recognizing when something you're doing or not doing is damaging the bond between you and your dog. The good news is dogs are incredibly forgiving. If you start showing up differently, they'll meet you halfway. So, which of these signs have you noticed your dog displaying recently? Let me know in the comments. See you in the next video.